Hey everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to my channel, and it is day 2 of Vlogmas or Bookmas or whatever y'all want to call it. And thank you guys for coming along the Vlogmas journey with me. I'm kind of recording as we go, and then this coming weekend I'm hoping to batch record several of these for you as much as I can. But I am definitely still feeling pretty stuffy today, as you guys can tell from my last video. Have a little bit of a cold. I sound a little better, but I definitely don't feel any better, so yay. But that's okay. I am popping on today to tell you guys how I did with NaNoWriMo. I did not update you yesterday on NaNoWriMo because I wanted that to be my introduction video, but I know I did a lot of write-ins, and if you were following along on my virtual write-ins, you probably figured out that I did not, in fact, win NaNoWriMo this year. I did do better. I'm proud of myself because I did write almost every day for the month of November. There were definitely this last week of November that I didn't get much writing done, but I'm pretty proud of myself for actually deciding to sit down and write a little bit almost every day, because for such a long time I was calling myself a writer but not writing, and it's one of those catch-22s of, is that a catch-22? Is that the right term? I don't know, but it's basically that situation where, like, I'm a writer, but I don't write, so are you really a writer? And that was something that I was really struggling with for a while, but I'm excited that I actually wrote last month and that I made an effort, and I got about a little over 32,000 words written, so I got a good chunk written, but I had a couple pitfalls, so I wanted to kind of go through with you guys and discuss, kind of what worked really well and what didn't work really well. So the first thing I'll mention is, I know I talked pretty heavily about plotting my novel and how I was super detailed with my plot. So I do think that that was really helpful, but I also think it was not helpful in some ways. And the reason why is because I actually plotted myself into a corner. So I had myself so plotted out that as I was writing the story and things were like, oh, but what if this happened? But I didn't have that in the plot. And I'd be like, darn, do I need to change my outline? Or can I throw that in there? And so I would actually get to certain scenes where I was like, I don't think this is what should happen here, but if I change that, then I have to change the whole rest of my outline. And so I think I plotted too much, if that makes sense, so that I actually created writer's block because I over planned it. I don't know, but I do think that having a loose outline was helpful for me. I do think that I was a little too detailed with my outline. So I think it makes sense to, like, these are the basic plot points of the story, but not necessarily being as detailed as I was. So that was the first kind of a good thing, but also kind of a bad thing. The other thing that I think worked really well for me, this is something that worked well, was that I put the schedule into I put a scheduled time into my day. So beside of days where I had emergencies pop up or things that didn't go right, I actually scheduled into my calendar as though it was part of my workday. So instead of taking like a 15-minute break, I took a 15-minute writing break. And because I put that into my day as a calendar appointment that I had to stick to, I actually did write. And believe it or not, if I put the headphones on and put the writing timers on, like I used in my virtual write-ins, I do get a lot written. If I already know kind of what scene I'm working on, I get a lot written that way. Another fun thing that I implemented this year was speech to text. Now, I have a Chromebook, but you can do this with any Google Doc. You can do this on your phone. I mean, there's lots of other programs out there that do this, but I would speak the scene into a microphone, and I could actually speak the scene, and I get several thousands of words written. I mean, at my most, I got like a little over 2,000 words spoken into this Word document. Now, it is speech to text, and as we all know from using our phones, this is not 100% accurate, so I would have weird sentences and things that's not the word I said, and that's definitely not the right phrasing, I would say, and it takes a little bit of time to get in the habit, because you have to be like, and he said, comma, open quotation mark, that's a great car, period, close quotation mark, new paragraph. And so, like, it takes a little bit of time to try to get that figured out, but it was really helpful. And then I would go back through when I got done speaking all the words and then, like, sort of fix the little mistakes and errors that were made. But I got a lot of words written just by speaking it into my little microphone or 2 pair of headphones. And so that's something I may use going forward, because I could really be anywhere. You could be anywhere. You could be in a car. You can be, I don't know, any place where it's quiet enough for you to have a microphone or headphone on and talk into it. You can write that way and then just go back and fix the spelling errors and stuff later. So I found that to be really, really helpful. The other really helpful thing that I did was discovering the writing timers. I think that they were very calming to me and helped me to concentrate better. So that was a big help. I definitely recommend either calming music or a lot of authors that I follow, especially like, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, Gianna Darling, Sophie Lark, Serena Ackroyd. Those are like my top 3 go-to authors right now. And when you read them, and they talk about their books, they always have like a playlist to go with their book. And a lot of times, I know especially for Sophie Lark, she'll say that she'll look up songs that remind her of a character or a scene, and she'll listen to that song while she's writing it. And that is very true. So I'm finding that like if I have an action scene and I have like action songs going on, it helps me to get in the mood of the scene and helps me to write that scene better. So yay for that. Now, for some things that didn't go well, the first one kind of went both ways. For things that didn't go well for me, I already briefly mentioned the overplotting thing, but the second thing I will mention is that I saved most of my writing for the end of the day. And I actually found that at the end of the day, it was very easy for me to, even if I had it scheduled into my calendar, to have something pop up, an emergency happen, I was tired, I didn't feel good, whatever it may be, because it was at the end of the day, it was very easy for me to skip that. So I think I'm definitely going to be one of those morning writer people, even though I'm not a morning person. It really needs to be something that I schedule into the beginning of my day so that I'm more likely to get it done, because scheduling at the end of the day, it just became too much of an emergency. Something else I did not figure into counting NaNoWriMo was that there are going to be days where I wasn't going to write, and I knew that. So for example, the week of Thanksgiving, I know that Wednesday was gone, Thursday and Friday were gone, because Wednesday I was prepping for hosting, Thursday was Thanksgiving, I was hosting, Friday I had family up here and I was going to be out with my family and I was hosting, and then I ended up having an accident on Saturday, so I slid down the stairs and spent most of the day in the emergency room. So like I had 4 days there where I didn't get any writing done. So I almost feel like, even though theoretically you're supposed to write 1,667, I think it is, words per day every day for the month of November, I feel like it makes sense to maybe add some wiggle room in there. And I don't know, maybe look at your schedule and be like, realistically, how many days should I take off of here? And then do like 30 days minus 5 or something. So how much can I get written in 25 days? Because I think that if all of us run into this and we know there's going to be days, and we should just plan, like I should have planned that, okay, on Thanksgiving, I'm not going to do any writing. And I should have upped my word count previously in the month or prior days in the month, so that wasn't the case, and that I wasn't behind on word count. So that's something I think I would like to do differently. And then something else that I feel like didn't work really well for me was actually the virtual write-ins. I know that sounds terrible because I had so much fun doing them, but I feel like, not the ones I hosted, but some of the ones I attended, you spend so much time chatting, I guess, that it kind of broke the mood. So like if you sat on my virtual write-ins, you'll notice that like I would write, I would take a break, we would talk about word count, we would make goals for the next sprint, and then I would jump right into the next sprint. Because by the time I've had a 10 or 15 minute conversation, I've lost the scene in my head, and I have to then go back and, okay, where was I? Oh, that's where I was. So then I lose like a couple minutes trying to get back into the scene. So I love being a part of virtual write-ins. I think that those are fine. And as an author, I will still continue to participate because I love to get to know other authors. But I also think that maybe those are just something fun for you to do, that are just really good things for you to do, but not when you have a deadline per se. Like if you have a deadline, maybe keep your write-ins to yourself because it doesn't, I don't necessarily get a lot of words written that way. I know people that do though. Like I know people that do better in a virtual write-in. I'm not one of them. And this is something I will discuss later on in this month, because I have a whole video that's planned to talk about what I want to do with my writing, what I've learned about my writing this month, but I'm just going to briefly state that there are a couple things I've learned about myself in the process of writing this particular novel that I'm working on, and that is, I don't think that it was a mafia romance, but I don't think the characters fit mafia lifestyle. And the reason why I say that is because you guys know I love mafia romance, but it tends to be heavy crime, sex scenes, a lot of action, a lot of like people doing not so, great things, a little bit shady business because it's the mafia, but I didn't feel comfortable writing those things. So as I got into writing the characters, I was like, I remember finishing a scene where the two of them are in the car having an argument, and I thought, he's too nice to be in the mafia. Like, he's too nice to be in the mafia. This doesn't work. So I actually think I'm going to have to go back to that novel and rework it. And I'm thinking about changing it to maybe like, instead of him being in the mafia, that maybe he's like royalty or something. I don't know, because I feel like he's too nice for the mafia. And I also found that I have a hard time writing a longer book. I know how to start the book, I know how to end the book, and I know the big event that is the whole event of the book, but it's the middle of the book that I have trouble with. So I need to work on writing and plotting the middle of the book so that I don't lose my attention, because I know if I'm losing my attention, I'm losing my reader's attention. So brief introduction to that, but I'm going to talk way more detail about all of that in a video later this month. So that is how I did on NaNoWriMo. Finished about 32,000-ish, a little bit more words out of 50, so I did not win. If you won, let me know how you did below. Let me know what your book was about and what you're going to do next. I think for me, the next step is to rework what I wrote because it does not work as a mafia romance, and hopefully finish it. All right, guys, I'm going to be back tomorrow, and this one is going to be a booktube video. I'm going to talk about all the books I read for the month of November, and then we will carry on from there. But happy Vlogmas Day 2, y'all. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.